What is a TIF? TIF stands for Tax Increment Financing. Illinois law allows cities and villages to utilize tax increment financing as a tool to spur economic development where it otherwise would not occur. Many cities and villages have areas that just can't seem to get on their feet. These areas, caught in a spiral of diminished economic value and quality of life, could be called blighted. How are TIF districts created? A municipality conducts a study to determine if an area is eligible for tax increment financing because it is blighted or in danger of becoming blighted. If the area meets the state standards for TIF districts, the municipality determines the TIF district's priorities, creates a development plan, and prepares a project budget. Since 1979, more than 500 TIF districts have been created in Cook County. That's a lot of TIFs. How is TIF money generated? Property taxes are based on a taxing district's levy request and the equalized assessed value, or EAV, of the parcels in the district. Together, those generate the tax rates that appear on a property tax bill. When a TIF district is created, its EAV is frozen for the life of the TIF, typically about 23 years. But the value of the property in the TIF district increases as development occurs. Tax revenue collected above the frozen value goes into the TIF fund. Since 1986, more than $5 billion has been collected by Chicago TIF districts. If all of the TIFs in the city of Chicago were treated as a single taxing agency, TIFs would represent the third largest taxing agency in the city of Chicago, behind only Chicago Public Schools and the city itself. In recent years, TIF revenue has averaged $475 million a year in the city of Chicago and about $300 million in the suburbs. Detailed information about TIF revenue is available on the TIF reports page of CookCountyClerk.com. How do I know how much of my taxes are going to a TIF? If your property lies within a TIF, your tax bill will show how much of your payment goes to a TIF. In most cases, taxpayers outside the TIF pay more to generate the revenue requested by the taxing districts. For example, if a taxing district requests $1 million and $300,000 is diverted to a TIF, then taxpayers must pay an additional $300,000 to make that district whole. How can TIF money be spent? The TIF district redevelopment plan should provide project details and estimated costs. Some of the ways TIF dollars are typically spent include planning expenses, surveys, engineering, and consulting fees, acquiring land, environmental cleanup, and building demolition, infrastructure improvements like sewers and sidewalks, job training for businesses within the TIF district, constructing new buildings like libraries and office parks, renovating existing buildings, streetscape improvements such as light posts and landscaping, and porting, a term used to describe transferring money to an adjoining TIF to help fund another project. What happens when a TIF ends? Once a TIF district redevelopment plan is completed or the life of the TIF sunsets, the municipality must declare and surrender surplus to the county, which disperses the money to the taxing districts. Are TIFs a good tool? TIF districts can be an excellent tool if used properly. But TIF districts have also become controversial and the subject of scrutiny. Here are a few criticisms of TIFs. The term blighted is applied too loosely. Should a downtown high-rise be eligible for TIF funds? Parallel budgets. TIF funds are sometimes called piggy banks or secret budgets because the money is kept in a pot separate from other municipal revenue. Porting, where money in one TIF fund is used for projects in another TIF district. Do property owners in the TIF want the money spent in another neighborhood? If the money is ported, does it still satisfy the original goals of the TIF? Priorities. Should downtown continue to reap most of the benefits of TIFs? Should profitable, multi-million-dollar corporations be eligible for TIF funds? Is there a better use of TIF money, such as funding underfinanced public schools? Lack of transparency and oversight. TIF budgets and contract decisions are not always discussed in open meetings, made available to the public, or audited by professionals. Is it a success? It is sometimes difficult to gauge whether a TIF improved an area or if improvement would have occurred without the TIF. It may be difficult to see any improvement at all.